Hey guys, this video I will be showing you how I did this really pretty orange neon nail set, and I'm just showing you I already have the nail tips on the hand, and also both of these videos of these nails will be linked down below if you're interested in seeing them. The burgundy ones are press-ons, the ones on the left are cracked ice nail tips. And these are the nail forms I'm going to be using. They're from Mia's Secrets. They're my favorite nail forms so far, and they're not too expensive for the amount that you get, and they're very, very sticky. They work really well with this specific practice hand. Now the nail tips, these are ones I have bought on eBay, and I could no longer find these clear nail tips anywhere. But I do have a video coming up where I do find some very similar. I'm also using my Alpha number 9 oval Kolinsky brush, and I will have a link down below if you're interested in this brush. I'm going to be using Mia's Secret Liquid Monomer and Clear Acrylic, as well as their Cover Pink from Mia's Secrets. And I'm going to use Glam and Glitz color Popsicle. It is a neon orange. I'm also using these 3D flower stickers, as well as this tape and some of the gold little flakes. So I start off by making sure that I apply primer onto these nail tips, because these nail tips are a little bit harder to apply product and keep it on there. So I really do go in there and file these nail tips before I apply product, and I also dehydrate the nail tips. Then I go in with monomer and polymer, and I just shape it. I do it very, very thin. I know it looks thick here, or it looks like I have a lot of acrylic, but I really don't, because I use those beads and I spread them down. I also remove any excess liquid on here with my brush on the napkin before I apply it, so that it's not moving everywhere while I'm trying to use the form. And I simply just do a base. That is all I'm doing to extend the nail tip so that I can work on top of this. You can go in and file right after using these nail tips, but if you properly clean them up and apply them, you won't need to go in to do that. So I already set up all the nail tips with clear, and now I'm just applying the stickers. I'm gonna encapsulate these, so I'm gonna apply these way before I even do any more acrylic or anything else. I did do very, very small bead of acrylic, clear acrylic, on the nail bed. So you would do that to your client. Apply a very thin layer of clear, because if you do a color on top or you do any kind of art, it will have a separation from that in your nail. So it'll be some sort of protection, especially if you do a very strong color. It won't tint your client's natural nail. As well as when you remove this, it'll remove a lot smoother and faster. So I'm just applying the stickers right on top of my clear acrylic. You don't need to buff or file the top of it before you do any of this, because acrylic will stick to acrylic. And once I find exactly where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and encapsulate this nail, and this will be the end of this nail. You can definitely add more glitter or even the gold. I just wanted it to be just the flowers. Something I did notice specifically about these flowers, they have like a cushion. They're very, very 3D. They pop out a lot. They're not flat whatsoever. And I did realize that once I used the monomer, some of the white in the flower did mess with my clear acrylic. And you will see that if you really pay attention to the pictures at the end of the video. You'll see that it looks like there's a little like cast or cloudy, and that is from the white of the flowers. Thankfully, none of the orange or yellow in the flowers came out. It was just the white, which was very, very weird. I always try my best to keep my monomer very clean, and I do have 2 little monomer what are they called? I can't even think of the name. Tamping dishes, always at all times. I have one specifically for clear, and then I have one that I use for color. If I see that it's getting cloudy by any chance, I go on and toss that, and I use that just for practice or to try out colors, and then I put a whole new one in the container to make sure I get it as crystal clear as possible. But I was noticing that that white was coming out of those flowers, and that tends to happen when things are either not made for nails or to use with monomer, or the pigment is just too strong and it fades out of the flower or any type of design you have and goes on to the clear acrylic. Okay guys, now moving on to the next nail. For this one, I'm just gonna do that really hot neon orange, which is definitely one of my favorite colors from Glam and Glitz, and I do use this a lot, especially during summer. And I work with small beads. You will always see my videos. I work with really small beads. I take my sweet time. It's just the way that I prefer to work. You can definitely work a lot faster with the bigger brush, and of course it grabs more monomer, more polymer, and you can finish faster. This is just preference. And all I'm doing is I'm gonna do like a French nail, but I'm gonna cut it off with a straight line. And after I do that with my brush, you try to shape it as best as possible with your brush to save yourself from filing. I'm gonna let that dry. Once that dries, you'll see that the acrylic gets very matte, and that's when you know that it's ready to be filed on. And then you can also use like the X-Acto blade and cut it here, but I was just moving after that to do the rest of the nails. So I clean it off here exactly how I want it, and the rest of the nail is going to be clear. And I'm also going to add the flowers just like I did to the previous nail. So I'm letting that dry before I go in and file. Now I'm going to work on the index finger on the next one, and this is where the ombre is going to be. Like I said, I work with smaller beads. Usually this is what has worked for me. If the nail is a lot longer than what I'm showing you here, then I will move up a brush. But usually I love working with size 9, size 12 is the biggest I normally go, maybe sometimes 14, but it's just what I prefer. And I'm just doing the cuticle area first, making sure that's nice and flushed, and I'm just bringing on that Mia Secrets Cover Pink, which does have little specks of glitter, so if you don't like that, I don't suggest getting this one, but this is one of my favorite ones to do any type of ombre with. And I am just putting it to add the color. I am not doing any type of apex just yet. I'll focus on the apex after I do the orange. So now I'm going to do the orange, and I always start by the free edge. I put a small bead because Glam and Glitz is always so extremely pigmented, so I like to work with small beads when it comes to Glam and Glitz. And I'm just bringing it up very slowly, always cleaning up my brush so that I don't have any excess orange go all the way up to the pink. And clean up the sides. It'll save you so much time when it comes to filing. And I just keep working like that. I add another bead a little bit up higher to focus on the blending of it, and go as high as you prefer. I usually like mid, a little bit higher than the middle. And then after this is when I will go in with more pink to, of course, flush the blending, make it a lot more of a smooth blend, as well as add the apex to the nail. I'm not gonna add clear acrylic to that nail. I'm just gonna let it dry and then file on top of it, because both of these pigmented colors are strong enough to be filed on top, and it won't affect the color. Now I'm moving on to the nail I was working at previously, and I'm just shaping it to a straight line, and then I'm gonna go on and add the flowers before I encapsulate this. And I'm gonna fully encapsulate this, and you can definitely cut your design or whatever you're using for 3D art any which way you want, and I'm just cutting it so it fits, like if they're coming from different directions. So I'm just going to encapsulate this, and I'm definitely going to be using some of the nail tape to add a pop of color and add some more to it. Next nail clip is something I added after I finished the nail set and I was editing, because I could not find the clip to this nail design I did. I don't know what happened. Sometimes either I have too many things in my memory card, or the camera battery dies and it just completely erases a whole clip or whatever I recorded. So this is exactly what I did to that nail, and I used this yellow that I made myself. I realized after a while that it was a little too light, so I'm just showing you exactly how I did it previously, and I just kept using some of the yellow and then later on added a gel polish to it. I add some of the orange with the clear so that the orange is not so harsh and it kind of blends out, kind of a marble effect. And I also just used the clear and the Mia Secrets pink to add a little bit of the pink in there as well. After I am satisfied with the design and the look, and you can see I'm always cleaning my brush and going back into the monomer and using just a clean brush with monomer to smooth out any imperfections to make it a little bit more marbly. I will add the little flakes, the gold flakes on there to my liking, and I do use a little bit of clear acrylic, a very wet bead, to the whole nail to stick the gold And then after that, I'm gonna add the yellow. It's called Lemonade from Models 1. That's the brand that I use, the Lemonade, and I will show you. And I add that to the yellow parts just to give it more of a pop of yellow, because there is very small yellow amount in the flower that I want to pop a lot more. And then after this is when you'll see me encapsulating the actual nail of the mannequin hand. That's the only part I got out of it. So I just wanted to show you guys how I created that nail, just so you guys can see. And then I am encapsulating that nail and then moving on to the next one. Okay, now I'm going to use my medium grit bit, and I'm just going to clean off the cuticle area, the side of the nails, and anything else that I need to save myself from filing using a hand file. And then I will go in with my hand file and just make the shape a lot more crisp. It really depends on yourself or your client, whoever nails you're doing. And then after this, I just add the tape that you'll see me do, and then I will top coat it. You can always add the tape and then do an encapsulation, so you can use some gel, hard gel, builder gel. You can use even clear acrylic or whatever you choose to your liking. Personally, I just add the top coat. These are just mannequin hands and they're not clients, or if it's on myself, I just add a top coat. But if it was a client, I would definitely encapsulate with clear acrylic to make sure they last just as long as at least minimum 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a good definitely tip. You also want to make sure you clean underneath the nails, especially if they're clear nails, to make sure that you get the full see-through effect. Here I just used the gold tape on the, I think it's the index fingers. I do use the gold tapes on each side, and in the center of that I use yellow tape so that it gives it a little pop of yellow, but you can't really tell it's yellow in there. I also do add this really pretty charm to the nail just to give it more of a pop. Like I said, I felt too empty there. I didn't add any crystals because I felt like this was beautiful within itself and I didn't want to take away from the flowers. So now I just add the top coat, which is definitely my favorite top coat. One of them, it's from Y.E.D Couture, and I'm very generous with this. If any of the tape is sticking out after you top coat, you can go in with the file or with the sanding band and kind of clean it off, and then you can top coat again. So that's something you can definitely do if you just top coat the top, or if you change your nails a lot, you don't want to commit to a full encapsulation, you can definitely do that. But I don't know if you can tell right here, see how it doesn't look fully clear? Some of that pigment from that flower came off, which I don't know if I like it fully, but at least now I know. So when I mess with the rest of the flowers that I bought from the same place, I know that some of the pigment could come off of it. And this is the full nail set. I really hope you guys like it. If you have any questions or you want to see anything else or a specific color or design, let me know down below, and I will be seeing you guys on my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And also, again, I was talking about the clear tips for this mannequin hand. I finally found a seller from AliExpress that has them. I'm gonna dedicate a whole video to them, compare them to the previously ones I have purchased, and I will share the link with you guys so you guys can purchase and start doing your nails with clear nail tips on this type of hand. So stay tuned, turn on your notifications for that video, you guys. See you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.